Hello, this is Max. The girl passes the final test and she has to fight a group of men who prey on blonde-haired girls. Don't forget to subscribe. In the questioning chamber, Veronica, orphaned at 5, faces William, who gently inquires about her parents' demise. Remarkably, she remains composed, prompting him to present her with a maze puzzle to resolve. Completing it swiftly, Veronica impresses William with her vivid memory recall of their first home, leading him to declare her impeccable. Consequently, he introduces her to a haven where distinctive individuals are groomed for special tasks. Intrigued, Veronica learns of William's tragic past, marked by the murder of his family, after a casual inquiry about his profession. Years roll by, and the teenage Veronica undergoes various trainings with William. William advises her to steer clear of water battles, prompting the teenager to request a firearm instead. The trainer complies, instructing her to wound him with the gun. When Veronica discovers it's unloaded, William resorts to throwing rocks at her, highlighting the disadvantage of firearms without ammunition. At a diner, a group of teenage boys, led by Jameson, hangs out with Jennifer. The boys notice a new blonde waitress, Gwen, and approach her. William tests Veronica's power by attempting to strangle her, revealing her surprising vulnerability. Veronica, unable to defend herself, is released, and William takes her position. He orders her to choke him, demonstrating how to escape the situation. The tables turn when Veronica unintentionally renders William unconscious, showcasing her immense power. William spars with Veronica and observes her assembling a gun swiftly, preparing her for a confrontation with a group of vicious teens. Meanwhile, at the diner, Jameson leads Gwen into the dark forest, followed by his friends. At a bar, William instructs Veronica to approach a man for a skill test. She obliges, pretending to make out with him but ultimately incapacitating him. William slaps the man awake, creating a scenario to justify her actions. In the dark forest, Gwen is pursued by Jameson and his friends, leading to a tragic outcome. Resting in an inn, William denies Veronica pain relievers, and she tries unsuccessfully to get him to like her. William restrains Veronica and administers a truth serum and hallucinogen injection, leading her to face her fears. William leaves Veronica as the hallucinogen takes effect. She hallucinates a confrontation with William, expressing her fear of failure and professing love. William abruptly pours water on her, ending the hallucination. William questions Veronica about her hallucinations, and she reveals her fear of failing the mission. Curious, she asks if William would kill her if necessary, but he evades confirmation. He emphasizes the importance of remaining sharp and declares her ready for the final test. William drives Veronica to the diner, introducing her to her next target, Jameson's group, who have a dark history. Appalled by their actions, Veronica learns that Jennifer, Shane's girlfriend, is part of their cover. As Jameson's group leaves the diner, Veronica exits the car to gather more information. She engages with Jennifer, eventually learning about the group's troubled dynamics. Encouraging Jennifer to live in the moment, Veronica bids farewell, leaving with a newfound understanding and gratitude from her new friend. In the car, Veronica updates William on the disintegration of the friends group and inquires about the commencement of the mission. Surprisingly, William discloses that the final test requires her to undertake the mission alone. Days later, Jameson enters the diner, spotting Veronica, the blonde woman in the corner. Taking a seat, the arrogant teenager engages with Veronica, who pretends to be new in town. Jameson invites her to meet him on Saturday night, cunningly specifying the dress code. On the designated Saturday, Shane prepares for a hunt with his friends, bidding farewell to Jennifer. Meanwhile, Veronica, dressed in red, writes "I love you" on her mirror. Jameson fetches Veronica from the diner, introducing her to his friends in tuxedos. Veronica humorously questions if they are an a cappella group, and Daniel flirts with her. The group heads out, with Veronica inquiring about other girls at their destination. During the journey, Nelson, excited about the impending adventure, shows off his baseball skills, while Jameson speeds up, and Daniel playfully interacts with Veronica. Nelson hands her a bat, and after missing the first swing, she impressively destroys a mailbox, earning praise from the men. Parking on the side of the road, Jameson leads Veronica into a dark forest. As they progress, Veronica stumbles on her heels, and Jameson guides her to a gathering spot with worn-out furniture, where his friends await. The men fall into a hushed silence as they gaze at Veronica. She breaks the silence by inquiring about their usual pastime. In response, Daniel extends an invitation for her to join in a game, and Veronica, the audacious young woman, offers them a sip from her flask. Unbeknownst to her male companions, the resourceful teenager has spiked the drink with hallucinogens as they take turns indulging. However, Jameson politely declines and returns the flask to her. The brash young man then proposes a unique twist to their gathering, a game of truth or dare. Veronica must first select a dare from Daniel's bag and decide whether to opt for truth or dare. However, there's a catch: if she chooses the same dare twice, she'll be compelled to carry it out. Jameson kicks off the game by selecting a dare but opts to reveal a truth instead. Curious, Veronica probes him about the most regrettable action he's ever taken. Jameson reflects on his past and recounts a poignant memory of his first hunting experience. The cocky young man discloses that he once went hunting with his father, targeting a rabbit. However, when he wounded the rabbit's hind legs, it limped away. His father instructed him to finish the job with a buck knife, but a young Jameson found himself unable to do so as he gazed into the creature's eyes. Veronica and Shane express their disinterest in Jameson's story, finding it rather unimpressive. However, Jameson firmly believes that allowing the rabbit to suffer a slow and painful death was a worse choice than swiftly finishing it off as he was supposed to. Continuing with the game, Veronica selects a dare but once again opts for truth, prompting Jameson to pose the same question to her. Veronica then shares a dark revelation: she had the opportunity to save someone's life but chose not to. When Daniel prods for more details, Veronica declines to elaborate and instead takes a sip from her flask. Confident in her ability to withstand the effects of the hallucinogens, Shane decides to abstain from participating, leading Nelson to draw a dare that instructs him to kill something. He selects a worm from the ground and consumes it, much to Veronica's evident disgust. During the game, Jameson learns that Veronica is not religious, but he ominously predicts that she will find herself seeking solace in a higher power in her final moments. Strangely, Daniel makes an unsettling declaration, asserting that true pleasure is derived from pain. He then asks Veronica to strike him, and she reluctantly obliges. Veronica, perhaps feeling outnumbered or uneasy, inquires about the arrival of the other girls. Jameson reassures her that they are all enjoying themselves and proceeds to continue the game. The cocky young man, Jameson, boldly accepts his dare and kisses Veronica. When it's her turn again, she inexplicably chooses the same dare twice, which requires her to be tied up. Jameson proceeds to bind her hands behind her back using Nelson's belt, and then selects a dare for himself, opting for the truth. Seizing the opportunity, Veronica questions Jameson about Gwen. This abrupt inquiry startles Daniel, who suddenly sits up straight in his seat, while Jameson maintains that he doesn't know what happened to Gwen. The unease settles over the group, causing the others to withdraw from the game. In response, Jameson selects a dare for the bound woman, and chillingly, it reads die. Disturbed by the direction the game has taken, Veronica expresses her desire to go home. However, the arrogant young man suggests a sinister twist. He turns it into a hunting game and instructs Veronica to run. She pretends to be terrified, screaming for help, as the group of friends finds it all highly amusing. As the macabre game continues, Jameson directs his friends to close their eyes and advises Veronica to run farther, knowing that the four of them can cover more ground in the pursuit. Giving Veronica a 5-minute head start, Jameson issues the chilling command for her to run for her life. Before long, the excitement gets the better of Daniel, who eagerly embarks on the hunt for their prey, disregarding the agreed-upon 5-minute rule. This prompts the other friends to join the pursuit as well. In the distance, Veronica, now untied, abandons her pretense and readies herself for her mission. As the chase unfolds, Daniel begins to experience hallucinations, perceiving two menacing mascots ahead of him. Driven by fear, he charges at these imagined threats, swinging his axe, but Veronica deftly evades his attacks. A fierce struggle ensues, with Veronica eventually wresting control of the hysterical man's axe, all while Daniel continues to see her as one of the hallucinated mascots. Terrified, Daniel seeks refuge to hide, but Veronica manages to overpower him, bringing him to his knees. In his delusion, Daniel envisions an affectionate moment, believing he's kissing his mother, just as Veronica mercilessly dispatches him with his own weapon and dons his shoes. Meanwhile, Nelson finds himself surrounded by imaginary masked assailants, which sends him into a state of fright. He frantically calls out for his mother, but Veronica swiftly disarms him of his bat and engages him in a ferocious fistfight. In his hallucinatory state, Nelson repeatedly charges at Veronica, whom he perceives as the menacing figures in masks. Ultimately, Veronica overpowers him, all while Nelson envisions a bizarre scenario of kissing his mother. In a brutal conclusion, Veronica crushes his head with a rock, bringing an abrupt end to his life. Elsewhere, Jameson, calling out for Veronica, stumbles upon Daniel's lifeless body near a tree. Shortly after, Jennifer, Shane's girlfriend, arrives at their hideout in search of Shane but discovers Jameson instead. In a twisted turn of events, Jameson taunts Jennifer, revealing her to be his ex-girlfriend, and proceeds to kiss her. Shortly after, Shane stumbles upon Jennifer's car and is horrified to witness his lover engaged in a passionate exchange with his friend, Jameson. This provokes Shane, who impulsively strikes Jameson across the face repeatedly. Undeterred, Jameson confronts his friend, asserting that individuals like themselves are incapable of love. However, Shane vehemently disagrees and proceeds to reveal the horrifying truth about their hunting game to the bewildered Jennifer, who looks on in terror. Tensions escalate as Jameson aims a gun at Jennifer, now aware of their heinous crimes. But Shane steps in to protect her, positioning himself between the firearm and his girlfriend. Suddenly, Shane tackles his friend to the ground and mercilessly beats him unconscious. However, in a chilling turn of events, he proceeds to strangle Jennifer despite having just saved her from Jameson's threat. As Shane's hallucinations come to an end, his perception of reality distorts, prompting Veronica steps in and eliminates him. Meanwhile, Jameson discovers Nelson's lifeless body and begins to follow Veronica's trail. By the lake, Veronica tends to her dislocated nose, a result of her encounter with Shane. She hears Jameson applauding her actions and approaching her from the nearby forest. Jameson suggests they sit down and ask each other questions. Veronica obliges, and during their conversation, he reveals that their friends were drugged with truth serum and DMT, causing their hallucinations. Jameson discloses the grim truth that they have already killed 21 young women, including Veronica herself. Unfazed, Veronica responds with laughter and inquires about Jameson's deepest fear. Refusing to answer her question, Jameson strikes Veronica across the face in retaliation for the deaths of his friends. He then proposes a twisted idea of marriage, suggesting that they kill people together, but Veronica firmly declines. Unable to find common ground, Jameson initiates a physical confrontation. Veronica ultimately strangles the ruthless young man as they exchange blows, mirroring what she did to William earlier. Following the struggle, she forces the remaining contents of his flask into his mouth and proceeds to drag him away. Moments later, Jameson awakens to find himself with a rope tied around his hands and neck, standing on a precarious small rock. Veronica warns him that one wrong step will lead to his death, prompting Jameson to plead desperately for his life. Veronica then proposes a game she dubs One Question. She asks Jameson if he is religious. Taken aback, he answers no, defiantly refusing to seek help from God. Suddenly, Jameson sees the apparition of Gwen before him, along with numerous girls he and his friends had killed. Terrified and guilt-ridden, Jameson cries out as he confronts his greatest fear. Gwen approaches and pushes him to his demise. Veronica watches as Jameson's lifeless body hangs, and soon after, William appears beside her, praising her for a job well done. In the end, Veronica and William celebrate their dark accomplishments with a meal of pancakes at a diner. If you are interested in such films, please proceed to the next video on the screen, and also share your thoughts about this film in the comments. Give us a like and subscribe. Goodbye.